Hello once again. Today, the second part of the introduction, as the multiplication of bread's passage is very rich. Jesus Christ is asking disciples what to do, and he's asking this, putting them to the test. Yesterday, when we were speaking about this reflection, about the mirror, to see in through the things we say, through the things we do, to see what is in our heart. And the same here, we can see that looking at the response of the apostles, we can see what is in their heart. So Philip is saying that 200 denarii would only buy enough to give them a small piece each. We see that the first thing jumped into the mind of Philip was money. That money will be the solution. But in the same time, he see the limit of money. That money will be not able to satisfy people, that they give them a little. Each one will get just a little. So it's very important what we think, how we what we use to solve our problems. Is the first thing we always think about money? If I had money, I would be happy. If I had money, I could do that. If only I have money, I would be ... So it's important that we see this, to see what is my reaction, and especially when confronted with the reality, what is much bigger than myself. Because here we see Jesus Christ with the apostles in front of a crowd, huge crowd of people who were hungry. We hear that there were around 5,000 people, but 5,000 men actually. It was the form of counting the people gathered in the Jewish tradition in that time. That they counted just men. So imagine that 5,000 men, if they came with their own families, with wife and children, that could be easily 15,000, 20,000 people. So it seems something that cannot be, easily fixed, solved. So this gospel certainly is trying to tell us never to judge our problems in the light of our resources. Never to judge our problems in the light of our resources. Like we see also Andrew, who is pointing that there is just 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. That with the Lord, the small things can become big. Can be certainly interpreted in many levels. In the sense of maybe small act of kindness can change someone's life, someone's day at least. That being nice to someone, someone who had a bad day, someone who maybe was discouraged or confronted with some suffering, your presence, your kindness, your generosity can give hope to someone. Certainly the small things. Then certainly, it's pointing out, that the Eucharist, the celebrations have power, even though, if someone from outside looking at the Eucharist of Christians, the Mass, seen from outside seems very simple. Moment when we sit down, moment when we stand up, moment when we respond something, moment when we are listening, then we receive this piece of bread from outside seems a very simple thing, and question might arise how that could change someone's life. And we know that the power of the Eucharist has, proven to be working in the life of many Christians, uh, and hopefully in the life of each one of us. The last thing I would like to point out here, that since that was the Jewish culture and Jewish time, and they are in the desert when Jesus Christ is telling them, to be seated down. When we was probably here to sit down, we have a particular image. What does it mean to sit down on the ground? But in the time of Jesus, people were eating. There was no tables, there was no chairs, so they were always sitting on the ground, on the floor, the houses as well. So they were kind of leaning on the side, kind of lying down. So in that aspect, Jesus Christ is telling them, to lay down, to be ready for a meal. And this word, which we have been translated to sit down, but is in the original Greek language of the scriptures, it is to lay down. It is very significant here, because to lay down was indication exactly to take the position for a meal, but this word was also indicating that someone died. Was the two meaning of the word, that someone was, when he was dead, and the polite way to say that someone died, someone passed away, was to say that he's laying down. We have this, we can see this in the Gospel of Matthew, in the chapter, I think so, it's chapter 5th or 6th. Let me see very quickly here. Chapter 5. When there's the curing of the daughter of Jairus, when they speak about Jesus Christ who comes to the house, and he went into the place where the child lay, indicating that there was the place where the body was, put down, because the girl was dead. And usage of the same expression here indicates that the Eucharist, that the Eucharist is the passage from death to life, that the Eucharist has that power to bring people from the reality of death, of darkness, of lack of hope, into the new life. That the Eucharist, it is truly Passover, passage from slavery to freedom, from death to life. So sometimes in the scripture, just one word can open up a totally new perspective. For us, most probably, for Christians, we grow up with these passages of scriptures of the multiplication of bread. We automatically connect this with the Eucharist. But for the early Christians, for those who were listening this passage the first time, that will be the indication that in that event, in multiplication of breads, we're experiencing something much deeper. So that's second part of the introduction. There is much more to be said, but we will see if the Lord will allow us on Monday to pick up this topic. By tomorrow will be something different. Monday we will continue with these passages from the Gospel of John about the bread of life, about this multiplication and explanation of it. God bless you.